Hello and welcome back to rFactor, and today we are taking a look at F1AL 2015 at Silverstone. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, which some of you may have been, you will remember last year I did take a look at a mod by the same group, F1AL 2014. Now, if you remember, it was a very early released mod, and at the time, when it was early released, it was actually, quite good. I mean, when WCP and other modders came along with their later mods, it was a bit overshadowed and it was, quite beaten. And I heard that they have released a 2015 mod, so I had a look at it, and I expected more of the same of last year. I was expecting a solid mod for the time that it's been released, because once again, it's quite early. So I was thinking, this might be alright. And I drove F1AL 2014 a heck of a lot, because I was involved in some league, and so I was very used to it, and my general consensus of it was it didn't have enough downforce at all, and the models were, a bit lacking. But I mean, considering how early they were released, they were actually really, it's quite fair. They were quite alright considering, how early they were. And, like I said, they were beaten later on, but you can't really compare them. So, I was expecting, decent for the time. And when I started it up, had a look at the models, and I was amazed, because these models are absolutely fantastic. They are just brilliant. Considering how early it is, they have done an amazing job. I think at the moment, of all the mods I've seen, this is easily the best models out there at the moment. Every single car is brilliant. Literally every single car is brilliant. And I'm absolutely amazed. And this was the perfect start. And I took it to Silverstone. That was the first place I drove it. And I was expecting the same, if not slightly different physics to last year, because that's what most modders do. They'll take last year's physics and improve them slightly. No, completely wrong. Completely brand new physics, and they are also absolutely fantastic. They have just improved the physics phenomenally. The car is no longer completely understeery like last year's car. The understeering last year, I understand what they were trying to do, because as far as we knew from the rules for F1 2014, that the cars would be less aero dependent and that they would understeer more. And they took that idea and they made it understeery. Probably a bit too much in reality, but we had no idea how understeery they were actually going to be. So they've gone, and it has much more aero. It's much, much, much better to drive. I think this honestly could be one of the best. And I've been saying this a lot recently. The mods have just been amazing recently. I think this is definitely on WCP's level, the physics-wise. I don't know, it's very hard to say which is better, which I'm not going to say, because I can't decide. They're not quite comparable, because they do drive a bit different. This mod, it is very oversteery in ways. When you go into corners, the car is very instant. You'll steer and it will instantly go there. Some of the mods are a bit slow to react, but this is very on point, and that's because it is a bit more oversteery. And that is to my preference. I prefer a slightly more oversteery car than understeer. So it does fall into my preference, which might be why I really love these physics, although other people that I know do actually really enjoy this mod. So I think it is, it is genuinely good. It is more oversteery than WCP, I'd say, at the moment. But I mean, it's up to you if you prefer it or not over WCP. It's your opinion. It's not clear cut. This is better than this. It's totally opinionated. The default setup is a bit strange, I will admit. I think it's something like 27 front and 18 rear, which makes the car very, very, very unstable. And unusually for me, I changed the default, as in when I went to Silverstone, I instantly, after doing a couple laps, I changed the setup, which I don't normally do. I normally leave default because default's the standard. It should be fine. It should work for everywhere. And this was incredibly oversteery with the 27 at the front and 18 at the rear, which was very unbalanced. So I removed some front and went to 22. If anyone if anyone wants a decent-ish setup, I went 22 on the front and 18 on the rear. 18 was the maximum. You could go much higher on the front than you could on the rear, which is a bit strange because normally it was the other way around, because the rear wing generates much more error than the front wing. But anyway, and I also upped the steering lock, but I think that's just more preference. I prefer a bit of a larger steering lock than normal, but I don't think I upped it that much. And yeah, it just felt brilliant at Silverstone. I mean, the car was definitely on point. Like I said, the change in direction was instant. It was really quick to change direction. It was a bit drifty in ways, going through corners like Abbey. You would be sliding the car to the exit of the corner, which it was incredibly fun to drive, I'll admit. It was good fun to drive. And that's probably the main thing, you know. There's realism and then there's making a car good fun. And I think this hits both points quite well. The car is just ace fun to drive. I was having a heck of a lot of fun driving it at Silverstone. And as you can probably see in the video, the change in direction is instantaneous, and the car just looks really good on track. When I was recording the track cameras, I was watching it, and the car just looked so on point, and it just looked amazing to watch. It was like really enjoying watching it, which is a bit new for me, because you know normally it's nothing special, is it? Seeing a car doing, you know, laps on rFactor. It's not. You don't get the real life movement. You don't get the roll in the corners. You don't get the suspension in rFactor as much. And this just looked really interesting to watch. I don't know what it is, but I think it's more because of how instant the car was to moving. Through some of the corners, the change in direction was amazingly fast. Going through Maggots and Beckett's, it was just flawless. I don't think I've driven a more on-point car through those corners ever. In any game, in anything. It was just amazing. So yeah, and I'm not going to compare it to other mods now, but I am looking at making another comparison video, like I did last year. I did VFR and AL. I did a comparison video last year. This year I'm looking to do VFR, not on a VFR, AL and VF, which is a new mod that I've seen, and it's quite good as well also. I won't talk about that much now, but I'm planning to do another comparison video like last year, and that's where I'll probably compare the cars more, and I'd probably look at the models a bit more in the video, but this is more just, you know, a first look, and it's just a first talking about like how good this mod is. And it's a very good mod. So as always, I shall leave you with me shutting up and you getting the full audio. Again, the sounds this year, every mod seems to have the same sounds or awfully similar sounds, and they're just, you know, they're really good. But there's nothing to differentiate any of the mods. They're all just the same, I think. But they just do really well, so it's just a good job. So I shall leave you here, and I shall see you next time.